On Monday, an attorney for one of the January 6th defendants was holding a press conference. That was the 4th anniversary of the January 6th insurrection. And he went on to say a lot of things about January 6th and what he thinks should actually happen. Of course, he's expecting a full pardon for his client from Donald Trump. Now, we will see if that actually happens. But he went on to say that he believes that Liz Cheney should be arrested and charged for obstruction and some other things, and that they should use civil asset forfeiture to take all of her assets and use those to give restitution to the J6 defendants that were imprisoned, and goes on to say that all of the unselected committee were actually criminals and they obstructed and they did this and that, which none of that is true. That is just things spread by supporters of the J6 committee and Donald Trump to make them feel better about the fact that J6 was actually a criminal endeavor. It was actually a insurrection and an attempt to stop the certification of an election in which Donald Trump had lost. But, of course, this attorney is going on to say that Liz Cheney should be charged with something because she was on the committee. And that's not how that works. Now, Donald Trump has said on the campaign trail that he thinks all of the unselect committee should be investigated. Those are his words. And even some members of the House want to do an investigation into the select committee for January 6th and do this whole big investigation, trying to uncover anything that they think they can prove where the committee did something immoral, illegal, unconstitutional, whatever. And it's going to turn out mostly like how things turned out with all of the investigations for 2 years into Joe and Hunter Biden, which turned up basically nothing, except for a couple minor charges for Hunter Biden, which would be charges that almost nobody else would have to deal with, but he did because they kept pushing because they wanted something against Joe Biden. Now, we'll see what ultimately happens with this, but rhetoric like that coming from an attorney is similar to the stuff that was said by people like Rudy Giuliani and some of the other attorneys Donald Trump used during all of his attempted court cases to change the vote totals for the 2020 election, the 60-plus court cases that he lost, like all but one of them for, which led to several of those attorneys losing their law license. So we will see what happens with this guy if he ends up getting any sort of pushback because of this press conference. So he's wanting Liz Cheney and maybe all of the select committee to be investigated and jailed. Don't think that's going to happen. He wants her assets taken. Also don't think that's going to happen. But it's just more red meat for the MAGA base, trying to keep them riled up as we go into this Trump term. I'm not even sure if Donald Trump is going to actually pardon the J6 defendants because they failed, and he doesn't need people who fail. So we will see what happens.